Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and I'm continuing my Army review, and today we're going to be looking at some minor factions of mostly humans, though not entirely. Starting at this end, we have some of what were I guess they were meant to be the villains of various castle lines. These guys were green with a dragon on their chest, or a green dragon heraldry. There was then a red dragon heraldry, and this was an older one. It was a bull. And yeah, so these are the various bad guys from previous lines, and I definitely want to expand these armies. They're not nearly big enough. I want each of these to be as big as any one of the royal armies eventually, and I'm looking into what it's going to cost to acquire additional parts. But taking a look at them, this side... there's actually a collection of stuff here that aren't all from the same faction. The guys in the back were all from this faction, from that, I think it was the Knights Kingdom era, actually. And then the ones in front are actually from the minifigure line. That's why they have that bear shield. And then the guy in front is just an all-black knight, because I felt it looked good with all that dark metal-looking stuff. We then have this faction, which has the red dragon, and somebody recently sent me this dragon minifigure from the minifigure line, and usually it's got a human head in it looking out because it's a costume, but I decided to put a translucent red head in there so it looks like he's about to breathe fire, and actually make him into a humanoid dragon-looking thing to lead this red dragon army. And then the bulls are being led by minotaurs, because that seemed very, very fitting. Not the most interesting faction. We've got one guy passing out from formation. But I did have the leader, Cedric the Bull, I think was his name. I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines. And he has a slightly different torso than the rest. And like I said, these are all ones that I want to expand, and I think I'm going to be able to. So we will stay tuned for that, because they definitely need larger armies for the siege. Next, we're going to get into some really small and weird factions. We've got these two guys. This was also sent as from part of the minifigure line, and again, I replaced the human head with some sort of a monstrous head. It was actually the head that was in the guy next to him, and that red guy. I don't know if that was the head that originally came with it. Sure, creepy looking, so it definitely looked like it fit the spider motif, so he went with that. And then the guys behind him, I think their torsos are actually from one of the spy lines, some kind of bug emblem, but it seemed fitting that they'd be leading or following the spider guy. And then this guy is also thoroughly bug-looking, and I've given him a scorpion shield, and he's leading the two guys that have scorpions on their chests. So obviously he's not actually a scorpion of any kind, but close enough. The maroon matched nicely, so that's where he went. And these ones I doubt, I may try to expand them, but I doubt I'll ever find more of those particular figures, at least not in bulk enough to build a large army, so I may find a different use for them, espionage, some sort of special forces kind of thing, who knows. We then have, we're drifting into the far east, and we have armies of both from the castle line where they did samurai for a while, which is really cool, as well as ninja, and then a lot of the Ninjago figures, and I have no idea what these guys are actually from. Probably more Ninjago, but they seemed like they were fitting leaders. Since I didn't have a good leader for these guys, I figured I'd go with the guy who's mostly red, and I like how that one came out. We then also have some white ninjas and this venerable old mystic-looking guy, as well as some more samurai, more fancy-looking samurai in their fancy armor, which is really neat-looking. We then drift into the Middle East. We have some guys from the Prince of Persia line, and then the guys behind them, I don't know where the hoods came from, probably from someone else's collection, but they didn't have the flesh-toned heads or hands, and they're actually currently, I think, in Luke Skywalker robes, but it certainly matched. So I do have some more Prince of Persia characters, but they're not really an army. They're going to be traders, because I wanted to have a foreign market, because I like the idea of having, a lot of variety in the army. So that's why those guys are here. And then we have all of the Vikings that I have. I think I actually have one more, but he's over in my personal collection in my office. So I've got the two Vikings and one Viking Valkyrie-looking shield maiden character, which is awesome, with her wings instead of horns, because that is proper. Then I've got these guys. I made these guys years ago. Somebody had a file on Brickshelf of different torsos that you could just print out and then attach to a minifigure using double stick tape. And so I made a bunch of Black Templars, and I really like how they came out, and I've had them for years and years and years. And I didn't realize I still had so many of them, so I reassembled them as their own little faction, and who knows what will happen with them. Warrior monks and all that. I might have them defending the church in town. They may be the faction that's in charge of that, or they will defile the church in town when the siege comes. Who knows? And last but not least, we have all of the figures that didn't fit anywhere else. This is when I had all my armies assembled and had leftover helmets and leftover armor and leftover, all of that. And also this Mongol-looking guy that I got from the minifigure line. No idea where to put him, so he ended up in here. And then the three on this side were more torsos that I printed out and made, again, years and years ago, and they're kind of sitting over there as well. So this is rabble, mercenaries, random folks in town, who knows. But they needed to go somewhere, so this is where they've gone. So yeah, that's all of the minor human factions. There are some more, one last group that I'm going to show off in the final army video, because I'm almost done, and then I'll be able to put all these in storage and get my Lego room better organized, because they've taken up my Lego room forever, having all these armies assembled. So let me know what you guys think of these. Let me know if you have any sources on where I can get bulk minifigures to flesh out some of these armies, and let me know if there are any factions you think I'm somehow omitting and should be added. And just let me know what you guys think of these factions in general, and thank you guys for watching.